guy actually died on my shift, strapping down his load.
This video is comprised of real life experiences from a real security guard, and these are my stories.
So I've had some crazy experiences as a security officer. I can tell you a couple of horror stories. So this one particular time I was working as a flex officer. So during this time it was snowing real bad and a lot of places were closed. The streets were shut down. No one was moving around. And I got a call saying, hey, can you go to this place? And I'm like, man, it's snowing outside. And where I stayed was like real hilly. And I'm like, I can't get out. I think they end up picking me up because they really needed somebody to fill in that position. I mean, I got to that site and it happened to be like a investigation unit. With that being said, on the bottom floor of that building was where they stored the dead people. They had them in the basement, and I was like on the first floor, right above them, right above the dead people. In this huge building, it was dark, everything's closed down. I'm like, man, if something happened, I'm by myself. I'm like, God, please don't let nothing come out here. I'm like, God, please don't let me hear any creaks and sounds, because I am not trying to see no dead people. I ain't trying to see no ghosts. I ain't trying to see none of that. So what I did was I got through the night. I got through that night and I was telling them, I was like, don't put me in that place again. And especially at nighttime. Especially at night. It was like one of the crazy experiences I had working security. You got dead people in the basement, like dead people. I see dead people. So a cool experience I had as a security officer, a couple of things that I can think of. So one cool experience was I was chosen to be one of the select few, and they made it real special. Like, hey, we're selecting you to be a part of this because you are a good worker, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, okay. That's when I was really sucked into security. Like, yes, I'm doing the best. I am the best security officer. I'm trying to be the best. Anyway, so they basically was saying, hey, we have an assignment where we're going to be securing the president as he flies into our city. I'm like, what? For real? So, of course, security guards do not officially secure the president, right? But what it was, he was actually flying in to the airport and there was a big event going on. And I'm not going to tell you which president it was because this kind of gives my age. But it wasn't the previous president. It wasn't the president before that. So guess what president am I talking about? So it was a presidential library that was built and they were having like some kind of celebration for it. So our task was to go to the airport and just be there, to be present, to be as a line of security. The cool thing about that experience was I was able to see like Air Force One. I was actually on the tarmac, like I wasn't inside the airport, I was actually outside where they were landing. And so they had us at different places to kind of just be there. Yeah, it was like cold outside. I'm up here freezing. I mean, I was layered up, but I'm up here freezing, but I'm trying to act like I'm really doing a duty. Like, you know how the military be standing still and it's just like, it's cold outside. You like, man, how are they doing that? I'm up here standing like at a attention, like just like standing straight. Like I'm really like serious about this. My mind was thinking I was really doing something like very important, guarding the president, but not really guarding the president, right? So that was a cool experience. Yeah, I don't remember seeing him. For those who are wondering which president it was, if you didn't guess it already, it was President Bush. President Bush, that was the guy that came to my city where I was living at the time. He was going to the Clinton Presidential Library where they were having a celebration, the opening of the library. So that was the actual event. That was the actual time. That was the actual president. The next cool thing I can remember, one of the buildings that I secured overnight was a building that had the local news station. And so at nighttime, I would go in there and just walk by the news station and see all the equipment, to see the actual setup of what I would see on TV. And that would wow me, like, wow, this is where they actually do the news. This is where they actually talk about the news. This is the equipment they actually use. This is the room they actually are in. There was a conference room in there that had like this cappuccino machine or something like that. It was like, you put these little cups in, small little cups, put it in the machine, close it up, and it'll give you some kind of flavored coffee type stuff. And this was like this was years ago, before it was like a common thing to see. And so I used to go in that conference room and make my little cappuccino or whatever it was, flavored coffee, and just be chilling, boy. I thought I was living a life of luxury or something, just sitting in a chair and taking a sip. Another thing, during that time of working at that particular building, they had a relay race coming through that area. So I was able to see this relay, which was a big event in my city at the time. So that was a cool experience too, being able to just step outside and still be on the clock getting paid, but checking out the relay race and all the action, all the people out there participating and supporting it. So I had an unfortunate event happen while I was working security as well. I was working at I want to say like a warehouse type of facility where trucks will come in and pick up a load, and we'll weigh them out, and then they'll leave the property or whatever. So sometimes these truckers overnight, they would just stay on the property. It wasn't uncommon for a truck to be on the property for a long period of time. So one particular night, working at this location, I think I was flexing at the time as well, and I had to do rounds around this huge campus. It's kind of like a metal yard or something. I don't know. It was a mixture of stuff, metal piles, and then inside, I guess they melt the metal. It was just like an old industrial like facility. So it was a trucker inside of the gate. Like I said, not uncommon. And so, I did my rounds throughout the night, walked past that truck many times. He still had his truck on. Like most truckers, they'll keep their truck running. So I was just thinking the trucker was in there asleep, taking a nap on the property. So, I'll pass by, do my rounds. Of course, I notate truck on property or whatever the case is. And so the next morning, I get relieved, I clock out. Later on that day, I probably got a call from a supervisor, and they was like, "Hey, did you secure this location last night?" I was like, "Yeah, I was there." And he was like, "So it was a truck driver that died on the campus." I was like, "That's crazy, because I ain't see nobody." I really didn't see anybody. I probably saw him earlier that night, but then I didn't see him anymore, so I thought he was just in the truck, just asleep. So what happened was the guy was strapping down his load, and I guess he slipped and fell like in the trailer somewhere where I couldn't see him. If I would have seen him, I would have called 911 or something like that. So yeah, the guy actually died on my shift, strapping down his load. That was very unfortunate, and that's something I will never forget. As an armed security guard, I worked like apartments. Those are the main types of locations that I remember working as a security guard. So I also worked at a Habitat for Humanity site as an armed security guard. And so they, Habitat for Humanity, they build houses and a lot of people volunteer. Well, they had volunteer builders. So my security company I worked for at the time secured that location. I did day, I did night, and I was just basically in my car watching. Those are nice houses too, just FYI. They actually build nice houses in these low income areas. So anyway, with that being said, as an armed security officer, that was one of the places that I've been. That was a good experience. On the flip side, I was at other apartment complexes where it may be considered rough areas. And I'm like, man, they want me to be a police officer over here. I'm armed, but I'm a security officer. Like, y'all got me over here. At the time when weed wasn't legal, they got the weed all in the air and everything. I'm like, so I had to basically enforce like curfews. So the locations will have like curfews, say 11 o'clock curfew or 1 o'clock curfew. And after that, you couldn't be out. You couldn't be out like just chilling, like outside. And so I would have to go and enforce that. If it was some loud music complaints, I would have to knock on the door and let them know, hey, could you turn it down, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't a pleasant place to be. Mostly all of the locations I secured, I did have a key to their model unit, the unit that they would show to their potential residents, right? The nice furnished unit. So that was an okay thing. I would go in there sometimes and take naps. I mean, it was long shifts. So another story, I was working at a retail location and I was patrolling the parking lot overnight. And so I'm just sitting in the car and I watched this guy walk through the parking lot, and he just walked to his car and literally just started beating on the window, like hitting the window, like boom, boom. I'm like, this guy is trying to break in his car. And I was in my personal vehicle, so he didn't know I was in there, I guess, or I was security, even though I had my security uniform on. But with that being said, I'm just seeing him beat on the car. So call 911, I talk to the dispatch, and I'm all excited. I'm like, he's breaking in the car. Come get him. What's your location? I'm here. And I'm just like really trying to get them to hurry up and come so that he won't run away. I wasn't trying to get out there and chase him, and I probably wasn't gonna chase him. But with that being said, I'm watching him as he's doing it, and he finally broke the window. And I don't know if he opened the door or what, but by the time he broke that window, I'm talking about like the police pulled up and they seen him and they ran and got him, or they got him or whatever. And, they took him to jail. But I was like, wow, I actually seen a guy break in a car in front of me, like literally like right in front of me as a security officer. And actually, I was a part of, getting this guy arrested. It was crazy, but at the same time, it was exciting because I can tell my voice was getting high, and I'm just like, hurry up, come get him so you can see him in the act. I wanted them to see him in the act of actually doing it before he actually ran off, So, yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff as a security officer. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've been a part of a lot of stuff. But that was some things that came to my mind as I'm thinking, like, what can I remember actually happening that I can probably share with you all so you can kind of get an idea of different things to expect. The good and the bad, the crazy and the ugly. If you're looking to get security guard gear, check out my link below, and you can choose from a whole list of items that you can purchase today. Check it out. If you got value out this video, show some love and smash the like, subscribe, and bell notification to get the latest HC content. Wow, that's amazing.
amazing. Wow, that's amazing.